Today, we're exploring Montmartre, the hilltop neighborhood that's inspired artists for over a century. But with more than 10 million visitors a year, some locals say it's lost its charm. Is it possible to enjoy one of the most popular neighborhoods in Paris without letting the crowds ruin the vibe? Yeah, I think so. And in this video, I'll show you how. And today, I'm revisiting Montmartre to share some of my favorite spots with you, while also looking out for quiet streets and new perspectives. Montmartre has a rich cultural history, so it's really no surprise that people love to visit. And in my honest opinion, it can be a bit overhyped, but it's genuinely beautiful and it's popular for a reason. I think it's a must-see if you're visiting Paris for the first time, especially if you love art, culture, and history. There's a couple ways to get up the hill. You can, of course, hike all the way or take the funicular to the base of the basilica, but we started at the Pigalle Metro. Check out this photo. I snapped it with my Holga 20 years ago in the exact same spot. We took the metro starting at Pigalle to La Marque-Caulaincourt. This way, we can start at the top of the hill and work our way down. Going a different direction is a good advantage to avoid a lot of the tourist crowds. Today we're in Paris, we're in Montmartre, and we had a little bit of a late start this morning. So now it's closer to noon and the neighborhood is getting quite filled with tourists. It's really busy. But we found this quiet park and I'm going to switch over my film. I'm going to load some Kodak Gold and then we're going to have a nice photo walk around the area. This was a roll of Hectare that took me like 2 months to finish. Was excited to shoot some medium format here. When we visited a couple years ago, I also shot some Pro 400H. But now I think the sun is out enough and we can shoot some Kodak Gold. I have a bit of an idea of what I want to explore today. Of course, there's some highlights in this neighborhood, but I also really want to look for some more quiet streets and unexpected corners. I'm shooting right now with a roll of 200 Kodak Gold, so that'll be a good start. And then let's see after those 12 frames, what else we find. Walking along these winding cobblestone streets, it's really easy to get lost in the cinematic vibe. Nestled on a hill, this historic neighborhood in northern Paris was once home to legendary artists like Picasso, Toulouse-Lautrec, Van Gogh, and Renoir, so their legacy still defines the neighborhood's artistic spirit today. I think the key to enjoying a really busy area is releasing your expectations and exploring differently. Try to take some side streets, wander without a plan, stop in local shops, and at some point you have to just simply accept that it's busy so you don't get too annoyed and ruin your own experience. Did you know that Montmartre used to be its own village, separate from the big city below? It was actually surrounded by vineyards. Today, this is the last remaining vineyard in Paris. It's closed to the public, but I could get a shot looking through the gates. I like the textures of the stone wall and the grassy patches. They created some leading lines that really drew me in. Every October, they host a harvest festival and sell the wine. Just past the vineyard, a bright orange building caught my eye. Le Pain à Gilles was a cabaret in the mid-19th century, frequented by Picasso and other legends of the Bohemian art scene. I noticed this colorful stained glass window on the side of the building and the sun was at just the right position, so I set myself up to create a window reflection self-portrait. This is one of my favorite photography techniques and I'm really inspired by Vivian Maier's self-portraits too. It works especially well with the Rolleiflex because it has a top-down viewfinder. But of course, it's also backwards, which makes it a little challenging. For the best illumination and contrast, I like to position myself in a dark window with the light shining on my face. Surface texture will also shape your photo. Is the glass smooth or wavy, shiny or dusty? Imperfections can add texture and character to your image, but smooth glass is what I prefer to get a clear reflection. If you're interested in this technique, check out my blog where I share more detailed tips and examples. I've linked it in the description. Around the corner, I spotted a house covered in thick ivy with this weathered blue door.
It would be great if the light was going the other direction, but I like the composition.
The texture of the lush green ivy contrasting with the historic blue door was perfectly framed. I love photographing doors and windows because they make me wonder about the stories they've held and who's on the other side, and I'm really satisfied with this shot. To me, this weathered door represents the history of Montmartre itself. How many years has it stood there? How many famous artists walked by or maybe entered through? Then we headed up the winding Rue Saint-Vincent, which has beautiful views. Looking around, it's hard not to romanticize the scenery because everything feels like a movie set. This area has appeared in many artworks and films, so if you spot a familiar scene, let me know in the comments. We're heading to the iconic Basilica Sacré-Cœur. This stunning church sits at the highest point in Paris, offering sweeping views of the city, so it's busy for a reason. It's one of the most recognizable and well-photographed landmarks, but that also means it can feel crowded, chaotic, and a bit overwhelming.
So when I'm exploring an area that I know is going to be really busy and touristy, what I like to do is try to take an alternative route. So you'll see the Basilica as like an iconic shot of Paris. Everyone enters from the steps and goes up. But what we did is come from the top, and now we're making our way down the hill. And this gives me the opportunity to see the iconic sites, but from a different perspective. I like that there's some leading lines going up to the top of the bell tower. Just kind of want some of the clouds to clear because it'd be nice if there was a little different texture. A minute ago, we had really nice texture in the clouds, but now the overcast is moving in. So I think we'll give it a moment and wait, see if something else. Like these clouds over here are really beautiful, but they're not in my shot. All right, let's see. If I see if it's a little better here. All right, we have a little more texture in the clouds now. Let's see what we get.
Can you catch it on your own?
I'm gonna try. I tried. So we came up the hill behind the Basilica and there's a small park. And yeah, I realized, wow, after all the times I've walked around this neighborhood, I've actually never come to this park. So we walked through, we found an amazing shot of the Basilica. Like, this is incredible. And I just love to see iconic places, but from different perspectives. And you can tell that this is not buzzing with tourists. There's like locals having lunch here, and how nice that you just have this view on your lunch break. But this is the kind of stuff that I like to explore, just making an effort to find a different perspective and to take a different route and see what else there is to see. Welcome. Welcome to Disneyland. This is actually the least interesting thing for me to see right now, if I'm honest. I mean, visiting inside the church is really cool. It's beautiful, but I'm really grateful that I got to be here like 20 years ago before it was so chaotic. And I think actually if you want to explore this area and like get the view from the basilica, the best time to do that is actually more like golden hour or towards the sunset, and you can see out over the whole city. This is just pure chaos and I don't want to be here.
If you survive the crowds of the basilica and go down one of the side streets, you'll actually find a really nice vantage point of the Eiffel Tower. But it turns out we haven't quite made it out of the crowds just yet. Around the corner is a really famous and busy square that used to be a hub of bohemian artists, and now it just feels like tourist chaos, especially in the peak of summer. I think that's why a lot of locals now refer to this area as Disneyland. In the 19th and 20th centuries, this was a creative hub where artists mingled, and some say it's the birthplace of street art.
All right, I want to get out of the touristy stuff as soon as possible. So I'm skipping this and I'm gonna go back on more of the little side streets.
Now we're heading to Rue Saint-Rustique. It's one of the oldest streets in Paris, dating back to the 12th century. This narrow cobblestone lane perfectly captures the village charm of Old Montmartre. Did you know La Moulin de la Galette is one of the last functioning windmills in Paris? Nearby is Rue Le Pec. It's famously steep and full of stories. Van Gogh once lived here, and in 1898, Louis Renault's first car successfully climbed up this hill.
I love this twisting corner here as it goes downhill. And I'm just waiting for like a cute bike or a cute car to come up. We might be waiting for a while, but yeah, it's like a really cool multi-dimensional shot. And earlier, there was this really cute yellow Peugeot that came up, but I wasn't ready. And the Rolleiflex is not really a camera for like quick action shots. So now we wait. I think it will come back again though. That's the second time we saw that yellow car.
It's just driving circles.
I think it just brings tourists up the hill and then goes down and takes more back up. I did it. I took it with the bikers. Wasn't as cute as a yellow car, but it's nice to have some action. And actually this weekend the Tour de France came through, so feels like it represents the time.
You can head down Rue Le Pec towards the infamous Moulin Rouge, but instead, we're taking some smaller streets towards one of my favorite corners. Do you recognize this corner? I'll give you a hint. It's from one of my favorite movies, and it's actually a story that inspired me to move to Europe. Can you guess? It's Amélie. I always love passing by this corner if I'm in Montmartre. Just a few meters down, we stopped at the photo automat. As an analog fan, I have a big collection of photo booth strips from over the years. If you ask me, it's always worth stopping for photo booth pictures, even if you have to wait in line. It's one of the best ways to document your experience and create nostalgic memories. I'm pretty sure this analog photo booth dates back to the 1960s, and rumor has it that this particular booth appeared in Amélie. And since there's only about 200 analog photo booths in existence today, I think there's a pretty good chance that that rumor is true. Histoire des luttes d'amour, des jours de cristal. After all this exploring, we started to get a bit hungry, so we took a quick brunch break at Cafe Cozy.
Oh, I don't know if we're gonna keep that shot, but I just ate it. And
What just happened?
there was a hole in the ground, and I ate it, and I went down hard, and thank God my camera is okay, not even a scratch, because I wouldn't be laughing right now, but I got pretty banged up, but I'm gonna be okay, and my camera's okay, because that's all that matters, actually. You can laugh like it was horrible. Like I'm clumsy, but this was next level. And now watching like no one else is getting caught in this hole, only I did.
Okay, so that was pretty awkward. And after that, we passed through the lively Place de Abbesse. It's known for its Art Nouveau glass metro entrance, which is instantly recognizable and a symbol of Parisian design. In the square's tiny park, you'll find the famous I Love You wall. It has a big mural featuring I Love You written in over 250 languages. I think it's a lovely symbol of unity, but unsurprisingly, it's also a favorite photo spot and super crowded. By this point, I'll be honest, I was getting pretty exhausted and my ankle hurt after that fall, but it was still great to explore this area and bring you along with me.
I wish there was more interesting people in the shot. It's just like a lady scrolling on her phone smoking a vape, so I feel like that's not my vibe. Sorry. We've had quite an afternoon. Wandering around the little streets was really cute, and I think if you come to Paris, this is obviously a neighborhood that you're going to want to explore. There's so much history and architecture and like cultural connection. But on the flip side, I would say it's actually really overly touristic. It's changed a lot since the last time I did a proper photo walk here, and I think that kind of kills the vibe. Maybe just because I've been here before, but I really loved going to the photo booth, seeing the little Amélie corner. Like those moments just reminded me of being a teenager and being in Paris, traveling on my own with my film cameras back in the day. And I think that if you're gonna explore this neighborhood, it's really the best thing to do is get up super early before the crowds, catch the sunrise, and just be here when the streets are quiet, and then see what you can find. So that's a wrap on this portion of our photo walk in Paris, and I'm excited to explore over the next few days with a few different cameras. I'll be sure to bring y'all along, and I'm excited to see what I discover. See you next time.